Got a 2014 Jeep Patriot Sport. The dealer told her it needed inner tie rod ends. I just found that hard to believe on a 2014 Jeep with like a little over 100,000 miles on it. Looks like it's been well taken care of. Ain't been four-wheeling or nothing. So I checked this thing out for her, and another guy had ordered a rack and pinion for it, and axle, and 2 struts. I think that was it, but I got this thing in here last weekend and checked it out, and it does not need inner and outer tie rod ends. It definitely doesn't need a rack and pinion, but it does have a busted strut on the passenger side, and it does need a passenger side axle. What gets me, the dealer never said anything about the strut or the axle. They just said it needed inner tie rod ends, which it does not need. And I'm going to show you guys as I do this. I'm going to take this thing apart, get the wheels off of it, get it up on jack stands, and show you guys. But don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and give me a like, and share the video. If you know somebody that's got a Jeep that may want to put struts or axles in their vehicle. But let's get started on this thing. First thing I'm going to do is take this brake caliper off. Let me remind you, they told her she didn't need brakes, but that rear pad is pretty thin. Take these 2 bolts out right here that hold your brake line secure. It also holds your ABS wire also, so be careful with that. You guys can see, probably 6 months, maybe a year, she gonna need some brake pads. Right, here's our outer tie rod end, here's our inner tie rod end, and I am pulling on that. There is no play in that whatsoever. When I move that like that and it moves the steering wheel. So there is no play in them inner tie rod ends at all. But guys, the parts that I use on this thing, I will leave links in the description for the parts. I'll even put the inner and outer tie rod ends in it if you need those. They'll be there. But we're gonna put struts right here and a new passenger axle. And the axle's not bad. It's just leaking grease out of the boot. The boot's not busted, but that clamp that holds that boot on the shaft is leaking the grease out of it. I told her, but she just told me to go ahead and just put a new axle in it, so that's what we're gonna do. But let's finish taking this thing apart. Alright, once you get all that loose, all your brake stuff off, brake caliper bracket off, to get the strut off, you got to remove these two bolts right here. You want to hold a wrench on this side and then break it loose on this side. And then at the top, up here under the hood, don't take this center bolt out. Take these three side bolts out. And then this whole assembly will pull out, the whole thing. You need a 21mm wrench. Hold this side. And then a 21mm socket on that side. And then just break it loose. Sometimes you gotta screw your nut back on just a little ways. Pop those with a hammer to knock those out. What's your ABS wire? You don't want to damage it. We also got this sway bar link. You got to take it loose too up here. It's probably metric, but this is a 3/16 Allen wrench that fits the end of that bolt. Just put your wrench on there and then hold the Allen wrench and then turn your bolt loose. We're ready to take the top three bolts loose. Like I said, guys, don't take this center one loose. Take these three outer ones loose. You want to hold up, reach through your fender well and hold up on that strut or it's going to fall. Slide it out the bottom. Look under there, it was leaking oil when you push down on the car. It psst, psst, psst sound. So it's busted. Don't take your tie rod loose. A lot of times you don't have to. You can get these axles out without taking that tie rod in loose. So if you can't get it aligned after doing this work right away, it won't hurt you. You will need to take it and get it aligned. If you have trouble getting this axle out of this spline, just take your nut and screw it back on there a little ways. Give a few taps with the hammer. It'll knock it through. If it's real bad rusty, you might have to persuade it out of there. Now we just got to get it out of the motor. Sometimes you can just pull it and it will come out. Sometimes it won't. I'm going to take this sensor wire out and get this sensor out of my way. I'm going to end up breaking that wire. Bolt out up here and give us a little more clearance. I said it would. Sometimes you can just yank these out and they'll come right out. Just like that. Ta-da! Alright, apparently there is two different axles for this Jeep. This one's with intermediate shaft, and it is exactly the same to right here. That's the intermediate shaft. So you'll have to check yours to see if it's made like that or if it's made like this without that shaft. And I'll leave links to both of them. This one's splined in the end, and then this one's splined on the shaft right there. So just make sure you're getting the right axle for yours. More than likely, it's going to be this axle right here without the immediate shaft. Slide it back in there. Line it up with the transmission shaft. Now there's a C-clip on the shaft sticking out of your transmission. And sometimes it's a little bit annoying to get that on there and get it to go back. Alright, we're ready for the new strut now. Make sure we keep this wire on the correct side of the strut. And slide that in from the bottom. We're going to torque this axle nut. This axle nut torques at 180 foot-pounds of torque. Put your axle nut lock on there, along with this wave washer. That. Cotter pin through. Ready to put the tire on. Alright, all we got to do now is the other side on this Jeep, and we'll be done with it. a little test run. See how it does. Get on a straightaway. We'll see if this steering wheel's still straight. When I test drove it to the garage, it was about perfectly straight. And it doesn't look bad. I'm going around a curve right now. But let's see what we got right here. Alright, we're on a straightaway now. We're going straight ahead. The steering wheel is pretty doggone close. The alignment needs to be checked on it anyway. Just go ahead and get it put on an alignment rack, and at least they can check it and make sure that your caster and your camber is good, and they can touch up the toe in, toe out if needed to be. But guys, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.